All right, Shalawam. Let's start off by saying Barak Tehawa, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakdash. I just wanted to say a quick Shalawam and Salakia to you, to the apostles and bishops and elders out there, brothers and sisters that watch the videos and be edified daily. Pretty much had crazy, pretty much a crazy week, but last couple of days been pretty hectic. Just trying to get moving around. And the elder Dimash came to pick me up, and pretty much, we, you know, he put a hitch receiver on his truck last year, but he didn't have the harness to receive the safety lights, the safety plug or harness from the trailer. So we had to get that done yesterday. Finally got all that done. Went, picked the hitch up, got everything going, packed everything up, and we got on the road for about 4:30 or so yesterday. We were supposed to get to Indianapolis here around 4:41 in the morning, and then about 3 hours into the trip, we caught it flat on Elder Dima's truck, and it was in Pennsylvania. It was dark as hell, about 2 feet of space, between the white line and the flat, and the flat was on the side of the traffic, and them trucks was barreling by, cars, everything. So we had to change that. He had a donut, truck donut, so we had to put that on. Went to the gas station to see if we could find, put some air in the tire, and the tire was pretty much flat, had a big ass hole in it. So we had to drive on a donut to go to another spot, to a truck stop, to see if we could find a fix-a flat. So we fixed the flat, put the air in it, but we just kept going with the donut because, um, didn't want to spend all that extra, because we spent like, it was hell, like 2 hours at least changing that tire, because the equipment, the jack was one of them turn jacks, so that shit took forever. Nevertheless, we got on the road, got the tire fixed just in case we needed it. So, we were supposed to get here like 4:41 in the morning, and it didn't end up getting here till about 10:30 this morning. So I'm trying to get like lay down a little for a little bit to try to, gather my thoughts before, I do a lesson. But it's like as I'm trying to lay down, it's like a splinter in my mind. You got to say something, talk, bring out something, say something, because it's like I haven't done a video yesterday, and it's like plaguing my mind. So I just wanted to say Salakia to you, brothers out there, you few sisters that watch for edification. Um, but as y'all see, there's a lot of videos going up, a lot of edification. Prince of the Power of the Air, which I called him, he's dead, but he's good now because he's in the spirit world. He knows now everything we've been telling him is true. Brother's been doing videos on him. From what I understand, he was 43 years old. I'm thinking he probably died of a heart attack because he was too big. He didn't, with all this knowledge he supposedly had, he didn't read the scripture where it says, a man, takes, heed to his diet, and he was gluttonous, so the Lord, pretty much took him out, which did him a favor because he could have died any other way, but the Lord took him out that way, So I don't know if he had a heart attack or if he was sleeping, he went into sleep, or however it went down. But nevertheless, now he knows that everything we've been telling him is the truth, you know. And that's just a sign of things to come. We haven't even crossed into 2026, and this stuff is already happening. Elder Pastor already gave the name of the year for 2026, the year of the apostates, sellouts, and agents, I believe he called it. So we're gonna see. Don't be surprised if we see a lot more of this judgment going out to these rebellious, insolent, insubordinate individuals out there that are pretty much just, going haywire, with the doctrine, and we were warned, about these things. The Apostle Paul said he warned the church for like 3 years with tears. So it was serious because the Spirit revealed it to him, and it plagued him because he had very great care over the flock. He said everything that he went through, all the hardships that he went through, being shipwrecked, being cold and hungry and naked and being among false brethren and all that stuff. The main thing, he endured all that, but the main thing on top of all of that was the care of the sheep of the flock. That on top of everything that he was going through. So he constantly warned. Yahushua constantly warned the apostle Peter and the other apostles, Jude, which is the actual brother of Yahushua, warned Israel, the elect of these times that were coming, perilous times that were coming, and also a great apostasy that was going to come, and the apostle Paul mentioned about the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, because they were the main ones, pushing, false doctrines and pushing nonsense. Men that the apostle Paul taught personally, turned against them. They started to, change the doctrine and put doubt out there. And you got to remember, in a great time of apostasy, you have these individuals that people look up to, teaching these wayward doctrines is going to cause some individuals to fall away. But those that fall away are meant to fall away, and they're not a part of the elect. Because Yahushua said that if at all possible, they will deceive the very elect. And they're coming with that Edomite, these guys at Genesis are coming with that Edomite, teaching style crap nonsense. And they got that from Divine Prospect. Now all of a sudden, Esau and Obadiah is a prose, that it's not, really that they're always going to be Edomites around. That's just a poetic way of saying that the Lord is going to judge them and blah, but however the hell he put it, So we're seeing this great apostate spirit taking hold, among Israel, right? The Hebrew Israelites, but you also see judgment being meted out, coming out. Remember, the Lord got comfy. The Lord got, what was that other guy's name? Forgot his name. Rap the News. You have, many more examples that's going to happen. So don't be surprised if this year, the year of the apostate, the sellout and the agent, also be the year of the Lord judging these same sellouts and apostates and, so on and so forth. And judgment is going out to a whole lot of different individuals out there. Stuff that we know about, stuff that we don't know about. So just keep your eyes peeled. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, and we, see what's happening. We see what's going on. We see the times of evil. We see these individuals bringing out these heresies, and just pretty much saying whatever the hell they want to say, and seeming like they're getting away with it, but they're not, because the angels are there taking note of all that's going on, and they're going back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, letting them know what's going on, even though the Lord don't need that, but that's just the order that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai set up. So as we see the day approaching, so we also see great apostasy, but we're also going to see great judgment too. And like we've always said, the main prophecy that we're waiting for is the microchip, which is MOTB, to be fully implemented. And once that's fully implemented, all bets are off, man. That'll be the time when we really, the Spirit has us turned up now, but imagine once that is really fully implemented, how much more turned up, brothers are gonna be, when that comes out. And like Elder Pastor said, we're gonna be watching all these different camps to see what their reaction is gonna be, when they finally have to come to the conclusion that, what Great Milson has been saying all these years about the MOTB being the micro C hip is, is true. and they're gonna have to eat their words that they spoke against us, beginning with the elder Apostle Torah on down. So we're in a great time, a great time of prophecy. So you brothers and sisters out there, keep your eyes peeled. Lord's will, I could do a lesson, a little later, try to see if I could lay down for a little bit, grab a bite to eat. And it's been a hell of a ride. Usually, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that we don't talk about. We just, just deal with it, the different brothers, and just deal with it and just forge on, because at the end of the day, no matter what we go through, we still got to feed the sheep and feed the lambs, because the sheep and the lamb are hungry. I always said, if you love me, feed my sheep, feed my lambs, So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled, and this right here with this guy, Prince of the Power, that could just be the beginning stages of the Lord bringing judgment upon all these different heretics and these demons that's been coming up against Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and his truth. Here it is. These guys, if they would have never heard the truth from one of the former One West camps, they would have never known that they were Israelites. They would have still been doing what they were doing in the world. Whether they were drug dealers, whether they were moles, whether they were, Christians, whether they were Roman Catholics or Greek Orthodox, whatever they were, Muslims, they would have still been doing that. Selling drugs, snatching chains, robbing people, con artists, adulterers. They would have still been that to this very day, had it not been for the men that came from, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai, that came from the former One West camps, out there teaching in the name of Yahweh Bashem Shai and this pure doctrine. And then here it is, you got these clowns, Johnny come latelys, going to say that they're going to come in, these novices, and now they're going, everything that everyone's been taught and all the prophecies popping off, now they're going to say, nope, all that's wrong, and we're going to show you the right way now. You take too much upon yourself. So, you got that Dathan, Corey, and Abiram rebellious spirit out there. And just like the Lord judged them in the sight of everybody, to put what? To put fear in the rest of those Israelites out there that may have been thinking about coming up against Moses and Aaron and the leadership that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai established. So the Lord, this is just the beginning stages of judgment. Don't be surprised that the Lord starts judging even more individuals out there, because this guy has been a real demon too, Prince of the Power. But he's good now. He's in the spirit world. He's good. He's going to come back. He's going to be, his head down. But, that was just a lot he had to play, but he's good now. So with that, I pray, that you brothers and few sisters, still continue on in the faith, keep an eye out for these wolves in sheep clothing, keep an eye out for these apostates, and, don't be fooled so easily. You've been taught better than that, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, from Great Millstone, and, this is the reason why it's important to pay attention to the lessons, take notes, write these things down, study them so that you can have a spiritual arsenal to fight against the wiles of the devil, because that's how the devil operates. He jumps on people, these misfits, to change the doctrine, and then because they speak so eloquently in certain cases, they can deceive the hearts of the simple. So don't be simple, just keep your spiritual sword up, your guard up, spiritual guard up, keep the armor on, and keep on watching. Shalawam.